Morning with Sanaipe Tande. This song was quite apt. It was right on time in the wake of having risen. There were so many cases of gender-based violence at the time. It was deep smack in the middle of COVID. And I remember this song being right on time, right on time. And there's a way Sanaipe writes music. My goodness, my goodness. You gotta stand a queen. That is Kunitema by Sanaipe Tande. Please add it to your playlist. We are getting our music from Spotify. And welcome to another episode of the In All Honesty podcast. My fabulous name is Oliver Rao, and this comes to you on our TBC radio show every Monday morning from 7 to 9 a.m. right here on Instagram Live. And today we'll be talking about something that's very heavy. But before I get to it, we'll do our usuals in the morning. Tell me how your morning is coming along. Happy Easter. Now that I know people are not going to work, I don't have my days are not different. I don't have an 8 to 5. When I'm done here, I'm still working from home. So I don't know what the difference is having being on holiday right now. And I don't know if there's way more people at home. But I'm still going to give you the traffic updates because routine is routine. We're going to look at the roads. I'm sure there is nothing happening out there. First of all, it's so cold outside. It's been raining, at least on my side of the planet. And looking at Mombasa Road, extremely clear. So then clear. Nothing is happening there. There's something happening on Eastern Bypass, just as you're joining Mombasa Road. I don't know what could be there. Maybe construction. The last time I passed there was some construction of some sort. So that could be right about it. Ngong is looking clean as usual. We always have Ngong looking very, very clear. That is Ngong Road. Sorry. If I say Ngong, mtadhani ni Ngong peke yake. And then Thika Road. It's a holiday. It's a holiday. We can clearly see. Thika Road is extremely clear. There is hata ile culprit ya pale yo itwaje Utalii College, nothing. Thika Road is very, very clear. Limuru Road, Limuru Road is also clear. It always has been. Situlisema watu wa Ruaka, they live their own life, And last but not least, I'm going to check out Waiyaki. I said this is my favorite road in the whole of Nairobi. Even if it has very crazy drivers, cheers baba, when they're going to Naivasha, it's not funny. But anyway, yes, we have, let me check. Yes, Waiyaki Way is also very clear. Waiyaki Way is very clear. I was just checking for formality because that's what we do here. But at the end of the day, roads are clear. It's Easter. Happy Easter. How you doing? So welcome to another episode of the In All Honesty podcast. My fabulous name is Oliver Rao. Now, today we will be talking about femicide in the country, and the numbers are staggering. They are alarming. And that's something that we're going to just dive into. But let me know how your morning is coming along. What are you doing right now before we get to work? I'm checking in on, what's her name? Doliat. Because I know Doliat's work does not know holidays. So do you still need to work even right now? And so let's talk about it. So first things first. When we're talking about femicide, first of all, I want to know if anyone can hear me. Am I audible? Because I'm not getting any feedback. Can someone confirm for me if I am audible, please? Okay. I'll just continue with the hope that I am actually audible. Okay, so today we are talking about femicide. And basically our conversation revolves around the numbers that we have seen. We do not know what the psychology is behind this. Surely. Too early. Supaswara namna hii. And it's a what day? What do we call it? It's a holiday. Literally a holiday. Not just like a holiday, but like a holy day. But anyway, how you doing? Tell me how your morning is coming along. We've had a little glitch in the morning already. Of course, power might not be stable. I don't know what is happening. But we've had it's not even raining. We've had heavier rains when they decide to take their electricity away so that it's not rained on. But just a minute for my internet to reconnect, and then we can continue with the conversation. I already gave traffic updates in the first live that We had already started. Hey, my lord. So in the first live, we'd already given traffic updates, but I also want to know how your morning is coming along. What are you doing on this particular day? Well, it's Easter. You are home. What's popping? What's popping? 247 Crochets. Good morning. Good morning, my love. How are you doing? What are you up to today? Do you head to work? Because I know there are people whose work does not know holidays. Even the people, I think, in the medical field, this first line workers, first line responders, I think all of you are at work today, but we've looked at the traffic updates and there's nothing going on the roads. So yeah, probably people are resting. This holiday is usually very restful. It's the longest weekend and I hope people actually rest. I know Nairobians are up to a lot, but I hope people actually rest. But this is the In All Honesty podcast on our TBC radio show that comes to you every Monday morning from 7 to 9 a.m. right here on Instagram Live with yours truly, Oliver Rao. And today we are talking about femicide in Kenya. It is actually quite alarming at this point, and we just want to know what on earth is going on. And I'll continue to, again, give the definition that I had given earlier. Femicide is murdering of women because of their gender. Now, I know a lot of questions that people might have is, how do you prove intention of murder to be gender? Because it's very easy for someone to say the intention of murder was, I don't know, maybe crime of passion, right? That is like, there are things that you can attach a trigger to. There are tangible things you can attach a trigger to. But then when someone says they were killed because of their gender, it's wild. It's something that you can't think of. That's a reason that is very abstract. And so a lot of people don't understand when we say, how can femicide be killing someone because of their gender? That is what makes it very crazy. It's like saying you're going to kill someone because they're short or their light skin, right? You see how diabolical that is. So one of the things that explains the intention of murder being just because you are a woman is, one, in law, they look at particular things. So in law and criminology, they look at the characteristics of the perpetrator. They look at the characteristics of the deceased, the person who's now been murdered. They will also look at things like the circumstances surrounding the murder itself. But generally, there will be, what is it called? Okay, not generally, but in layman's language, what I would say is generally look at it in terms of a man would not have faced the same fate in the hands of the same person. So this person who has been triggered and has killed their wife or has killed this person, if they were in the same situation with a man, they wouldn't have ended up killing that man, right? So that's how in layman we just basically translate that. We just say, if this situation were with a man would not have been killed. And we're seeing a lot of the situations, like men, a lot of people are arguing that men too are dying. But men are dying from other causes. You know, it is okay when we are reporting deaths and someone died in a road accident, another one died of illness, another one died. When you start to report cases and all of them are murder, and the people who have been murdered have one thing in common, they are all women, then we have to start looking at it different. And basically how we prove intention is that when you're fighting with a man, when a man has done something to you, you don't kill them. Then why is it that when you're triggered by a woman, you decide to kill them? Right? It does not make sense. So that is where the intention comes in. If we put this situation in another scenario, and in this scenario you are with a man, this man wouldn't have met the same fate the woman met while you were in the same scenario. So that is basically the thing. And why we're having this conversation right now is because we are raising alarm because of the statistics. It's getting crazier. Last week we hit the streets in January, and basically, I think things went on after that. Of course, we had the Mandamano that was nationwide, but then we hit the streets in January just to say, stop killing, stop killing. At that time, I think we were just reporting right about, was it 60 cases? I think it was 60 cases in the month, or was it for a period of time? Even at the time, it was still very alarming. So last year, the whole of last year, 2024, 170 cases of femicide were reported. And okay, that was the year that ended with us getting tear gassed in town again. That was it in November? When was it? October or November? When the next femicide march was organized, the second one of the year. And I think there was a lot of tension in the country, and your Kasongo man just told the police, go and deal with anyone on the streets, including unarmed women. So 170 cases were reported in 2024 of femicide, of women having been killed. And right now, why the Red Lipstick campaign has come on. So if you've seen the Red Lipstick campaign, it is basically just advocating and petitioning for femicide to be made a crime on its own. Just it on its own be made a crime, because now we cannot bulk it up together with all the other murders. At this point, the intention for this murder is very specific and it's very bizarre. But anyway, so the Red Lipstick campaign is basically just petitioning that femicide be criminalized, femicide on its own be a crime, and also because the cases that we are seeing, this is what I wanted us to talk about. The intent is so abstract. It is so, I cannot touch it. You cannot prove it. It is very difficult. And you see right now why now this campaign has come on board is because in April 2025, we have registered 129 reported cases of femicide. We are only 40 cases shy of reporting a number that was reported for a whole year in 2024. Do you realize how ridiculous that is? If the whole of 2024, January to December, those are 12 months, only 170 cases were reported, right? And now between January and April, and we're not even done with April, we are halfway through April. So between the first 3 months of 2025, you're reporting cases you're reporting cases close to the number that we saw for a whole year last year. So that is why the alarm has come up. And if you want it broken down further, 129 cases in these 3 months basically means that there's a woman dying every 18 hours. So if look at the people around you, and let's say you live in a family of 7 people. Let's say you're a family of 7 and all of you are girls, your mom and your sisters, right? So imagine you're 7 people in that family and think of it as 18 every 18 hours. So we are starting today at 7 a.m. 18 hours. By the time tomorrow, 18 hours from now will be like tomorrow, at what time? Tomorrow, maybe early morning. By tomorrow, early morning, one of the people in that house has dropped dead. And then before the day ends tomorrow, another person has dropped dead. So think of it that way. And in a house of 7 women, you're all going to be dead in 7 days. That's how you can calculate it in your head. And honestly, it is scary. It is ridiculous. And we just want to talk about it. And we want to understand, honestly, where is that glitch happening? What is the problem right there? So let's just talk about it. Let's talk about it, because right now it is exhausting. So the politics, I've seen some politics around there. What is it called? The Red Lipstick campaign. The politics I've seen, of course, is social media noise, which I am here to just tell you, really, when there's a campaign going on, when there's a humanitarian cause going on, please, if your contribution is not positive, it is not helping the cause in any way, I would really advise that you keep it to yourself. It's okay, keep it to yourself. You could be right, you could be wrong, we don't know. But at this point, it's being counterproductive without your opinion. So the Usikimye, one of the things I've had on the grapevine, just basically on social media, and it's always people running their mouth, So the thing I've had on social media is, one, that Usikimye is just looking for donor funding. And 2, the Joanna K saga, where Joanna K is being accused of using the cause for marketing her products. And we're going to have some thoughts and analyses on all of that. So we're going to discuss all of that. And if you're just coming in, this is the In All Honesty podcast on our TBC radio show, coming to you every Monday morning from 7 to 9 a.m. right here on Instagram Live with you as truly Olive Orao. And today we are discussing femicide in Kenya. Basically, what is happening? What on earth is happening here? Because it is not funny. It is not cute. We are scared. And I think every day you think about it, you're just like, where am I going to be safe? And right now, I want to bring to the front the plight of women and their security, because right now, as we speak, we have a case of Adele Omondi. I don't know if you've heard of Adele Omondi, who was traveling from Nairobi to Kenya, from Nairobi to Mombasa for using Mashpoa. Mashpoa is a bus, a coach. And she boarded a bus from Nairobi, and the next time she woke up in a hospital, Mombasa General Hospital. So she did get to Mombasa. She woke up in Mombasa General Hospital. She didn't have her pants on, and everything that she was carrying had been stolen from her. And she's gone asking for the details of the person who was seated next to her in the bus. And then Mashpoa is telling her they don't have those details. What do you mean? It's a long distance travel. Everyone usually takes up a ticket. Like, you book a ticket for you to go up on the bus. That's the only way. How can you say you do not know who was seated on a particular seat? And I'm looking at this case and I'm thinking, do you know how much panic this sends across the country, knowing that I cannot take a bus from here to my rural home and get there safe? that any, like even public spaces, like a bus. Do you know how crazy a bus is? So with cases like those, we are left to just wallow in sort of helplessness, where we're like, I keep looking over my shoulder. I keep looking over my shoulder no matter where I am. I could be at the supermarket. I could be walking. There's so much. I don't know if men understand what it feels like to wake up every day and look over your shoulder. Like, you know how you walk late at night in a dark alley? That's women every single day. You wake up. It's so crazy. And I don't know if you can picture it. I don't know if in your wildest dreams or whatever it is that you create your imagination, can you imagine waking up and having to just check, who is my neighbor? Who am I passing by the road? Who is my gate guard? Who am I seated next to on a bus? The Adele Omondi story is crazy, and we need to put on a lot more. We need to speak about this a lot more. So we are talking about femicide in Kenya, and basically we're just going to go through our thoughts and analyses generally. But in this particular episode, it's going to be different. We're not going to have the second hour of the episode, because usually the second hour is characterized by having confessionals. And usually, what are we supposed to do with confessions in this particular episode? There is nothing we can do with them. So my thoughts and analysis on general, some of the general points that I've put across on femicide is just like most things, it could have been happening. So, like, you know how, anyway, just like most things, it could have been happening. It's just that right now we're starting to record. Right now we have the resources to record a bit more cases. Maybe more people have the courage to come forward and report what is happening. So maybe that is the spike that we're seeing in the numbers. But it could be, I shudder to think that it could be that we were dying at this rate, that we as women were dying at this rate even before, and it just wasn't getting recorded. I think that is even scarier than just thinking now we have records. It is extremely scary to think that maybe the cases have been there, but it was just, it's just being started to record. But that is one of the things. It could be actually a possibility, because there's even like 2 books I'm reading right now. I'm reading The Last Plague by Meja Mwangi, and there's another book, The Trials of Chepondor by Franz Owano. And those 2 books actually show how, because it's set up in African traditional setup, and you can see how women were literally second-class citizens. And you can see, because even in The Trials of Chepondor, there's a part where Kakut is the husband, basically the patriarch of the family. Kakut comes and learns that Chepondor is taking family planning pills. And he's very angry about this. And not that he knows for sure, he just had rumors that Chepondor was seen around the village clinic. And so he comes back and he beats her up as usual. But then this time he actually strangles her on the wall, like holds her to the wall and strangles her until I think she passes out, or I think for a minute she passes out. Yeah. And then when she comes back to, and I thought, this is traditional Africa. And this is something that could be happening in the communities right now that maybe we can't even reach there in remote areas, the communities that are still practicing FGM and all of that. And it is scary. It is honestly scary to think that this is how women have lived all their lives. And it's only now that maybe these cases are starting to be reported, and that could explain maybe the spike in numbers. But either way, either of the scenarios is crazy. It's crazy, whether it was happening before at the same rate or whether right now it's just started to spike. So either way is very scary. And the other thing is, we know that the justice system in Kenya is complete bollocks, utterly disgusting. Nothing in the system is working. Everything is broken. Whatever is moving is only for people who have resources and have networks. And it is crazy. Honestly, it is crazy. And just because the justice system is so broken, I feel like the perpetrators almost feel very confident that they can get away with anything. Because it's not only the femicide cases that we're looking at. I don't know if you've seen Philip Karanja has done an episode alongside Hey, Thriving in Her 20s. Hi, how you doing? Good morning. How you doing, babe? Welcome. If you're just coming in, this is the In All Honesty podcast on our TBC radio show, coming to you every Monday morning from 7 to 9 a.m. right here on Instagram Live with me, Olive Orao. And today we are talking about femicide in Kenya. And the cases are, it's a grim scene in Kenya. Honestly, just thinking about it, it's a bit too much. And right now we are on the thoughts and analysis. We've basically defined what femicide is, and we've looked at the different scenarios we're looking at at this particular time. And the first thought that I had was, it could be The numbers could be that these femicide cases were happening before at the rate in which we are seeing them, but they just weren't getting recorded. So maybe that's why we are here. And the other thing could be that maybe there's an actual spike. There's an actual spike in the cases. And either way, both are still scary. Both are hella scary. And the other thing I was saying is that our justice system is crazy. Anyone can get away with anything. And it feels like, oh yeah, I was talking about, thank you so much, Thriving in Her 20s. I'm guessing this is Becky. Is it you, Becky? You're saying Phil and alongside Kambua. Yes, that's what I was talking about before I read your comment, and then I think I digressed. But basically, there's what was I saying? Oh, now it was on the point. It was building on this particular point. The justice system is so hella broken that it seems like perpetrators know that they can get away with anything. And this is because I was now comparing it to the Phil and Kambua. Is it Kambua? There's Kambua and there's also Janet Mbugua. Janet Mbugua is also part of that production. Is it production or whatever? Was Janet or did Janet Mbugua just share it? Anyway, there is Philip Karanja and Kambua who went out now to Busia. And I think you should go on YouTube and actually watch this particular feature. They went to Busia, and Busia has a plague. There they are getting plagued by abuse of children. And this is sexual abuse of children. And it's crazy. Children from the ages of 2 all the way to 18. And it is so normalized. I was watching that documentary and I was thinking, I've watched such documentaries for India. And even we ourselves, as people, as solo travelers, as women, as female solo travelers, we know that India is a place that we don't travel to because we've heard of this. That rape and abuse of women is so normalized, it is crazy. And now to hear it happening in my background is, I can't fathom, I can't wrap my head around it. Now, where I was going with this is that when you watch that particular feature, you realize how much the justice system is broken, because even there is no justice at all. The courts in Busia, everyone's pockets are lined by powerful people. These powerful people are the abusers themselves. You're thinking these powerful people are the governor and all that. These powerful people are the MCA. They are just these random people. Like, gosh, it is crazy. And to think that nothing can happen. When you go to the police, nothing is happening. You can, I've mentioned the story of Adele Omondi, who's gone to, who was traveling from Nairobi to Mombasa. And then she lost consciousness. The next time she woke up, she was at Mombasa General Hospital without her panties, and everything she had has been stolen from her. She goes to Mashpoa, the bus she was using. She asks for the details of the person who was seated next to her, and they're telling her they're telling her they don't have those details. Where do you even begin from when the justice system is so horrible? The police are not helping you. The courts are not helping you. No one in authority is trying to support a project or to support any sort of justice. The justice system is in utter shambles. And it genuinely seems like perpetrators know that. Because, Zuzed, you were saying they do. That's why they spend time defending the killers, because when it's their turn to murder, they'll also be defended. That makes, it makes a lot of sense. It makes a lot of sense, and it's sad to say. So it seems like have we just made peace? Men, please explain to me, have we just made peace with this killing of women? We'll just kill them. And we're going to protect the ones who are killing them, because even us, when it gets to the point when we want to kill someone, we'll have people on our side, because we already built a network of people who can come through for us, because it's crazy. It's crazy. And why I'm saying the justice system is completely in shambles, and that's why perpetrators know and they feel like they can get away with anything, is because what I was saying in my prompt. Remember, in my prompt, I said that you see the first cases of gender-based violence that were getting recorded. A lot of them could be passed for accidents. A lot of them could be the usual violence that people are experiencing in marriages. And let me not even use the word usual, because if you are in a relationship that is violent, that is not normal. That is not normal. I promise you, even if you grew up in a home that was violent, I promise you today, hear me, if you're in a relationship that is violent, it is not normal. You shouldn't be getting beaten, you shouldn't be getting abused, whether emotionally or physically. So just feel affirmed in case you are in a relationship where you're feeling like, okay, maybe this is something that happens. And I'm glad that we even started the episode with Sanaipe Itande's song, Kunitema, because this is a song that basically it speaks to gender-based violence, and especially towards women, and intimate partner violence. So even in that particular song, you see that she goes back home and her parents tell her, Ulisha olewa, don't come back here, when maziwa mala, nini. Like there's so much stigma around a daughter coming back home when the marriage fails. So there was that. At the time when the gender-based violence cases started getting recorded, at that time, in the beginning, you could pass them for accidents. It could be they were normally fighting, and this time, I don't know, she hit her head on the chair and she passed out, and maybe that's how she died. You could put some accident to it. What we are seeing right now, the cases we are seeing right now, are straight out of a horror movie. You don't understand what this is. What? Because do you remember? I want to give some grim cases, and please, trigger warning in case these things will be a bit too triggering for you. I want you to remember the case of the 17-year-old girl who refused advances from a particular man. The man was way older, so 17, first of all, is underage, right? It was right here on, was it Ngong Road? The girl was, what is it called? The girl was 17 years old. There's a man who I think was making advances to her. She refused. And then this one time, well, this girl is going to board a bus. A normal day, this girl is going to board a bus. She gets kidnapped. And not only do they do the worst things to this girl, they actually tie her to, what is it called? They tie her to a car. And they go dragging her on the tarmac road. Okay, explain that to, like, what? Explain that to me. Explain that to me. The case that we've seen most recently of the people in what campus were they in? What campus were they in? Two students in campus, a boy and the girlfriend. This boy strangles the girlfriend to death, stuffs her in a suitcase, walks around with her looking for somewhere to dump her, can't find, uses this suitcase as a pillow. The roommate says he came with a suitcase, he tried to use it as a pillow, it was uncomfortable, he removed it, he put it under the bed, and then he went out with it the next day. Multimedia University, thank you. Multimedia University is just up here on Rongai, right? Then the next, after trying to use it as a pillow, could not, the next day just took the suitcase and went and dumped it in, was it in a well? Does anyone else feel how ridiculous this is? I'm trying to get do you understand what level of premeditation this is? And the extent to which you're going to hurt this person. It's not like you just want to do away with them. It's like you're so angry that even death itself is not enough. Like even killing them is not enough. It's crazy. It's crazy. Like what is that? So that you are saying it's because femicide is the last violently possible crime against women and girls. It's crazy. It's wild. I've lost words. I'm lost for words. So we are talking about femicide in Kenya. And the cases we're seeing are extremely grim. That, first of all, I can't explain the psychology behind the people who are committing these murders. And second, there must be such a high level of confidence that people will get away with things because how broken our justice system is. And anyway, if you are just coming in, this is the In All Honesty podcast on our TBC radio show that comes to you every Monday morning from 7 to 9 a.m. right here on Instagram Live with yours truly, Oliver Rao. And today we're talking about femicide in Kenya. Femicide is basically the killing of women just because of their gender. And we also have the Red Lipstick campaign that is basically petitioning for the femicide to be made a crime on its own, to just be criminalized, because the idea of killing someone because of gender is crazy. It's such a new thing. It is so abstract. The reasoning is so abstract that you don't even know what to do with it. And where I'd like to now find give you a picture of what that means is, if someone is getting killed just because they're a woman, that opens it up to, then you can get killed because you're short. Then you can get killed because you're tall. Then get killed because you're light skin or you're dark skin. Like those, do you see how crazy that is? Do you realize how crazy that is? So when we are talking about criminalizing this, it's because you can't, the question was, because some people were asking, when we're saying that femicide is not murder, it's because you have to prove intent, right? But intent is easy to prove when you say this is a crime of passion. This person was angry that this person was cheating on them. It's a crime of this. This person, you can explain it. But this one, I'm just like, whatever it is, I feel like doing to you today is because you're a woman. And we've explained it in layman's. We've said in criminology or in law, they might look at the characteristics of the disease, the characteristics of the perpetrator, and then look at the circumstances surrounding the killings and decide whether it's femicide or just murder. But then in layman's, we've explained it as you could, if whatever has happened to you as a woman, if the scenario was taken and put with in a scenario where they were doing this thing with a man, they wouldn't have killed the man. You get? Like if we were fighting and I told you, go away, I don't even want you, that is normal. And you would, in that situation, someone killing you is very wild, right? But if they were in a situation where they were fighting with a man and a man told them, get out of here, I don't want to see you, they wouldn't kill that man. So that is where femicide comes in. You're killing me just because I'm a woman. If this situation was taken to you being in a room with a man, that man wouldn't meet the same fate as me. And that is what constitutes to femicide in this case. Yvette Wanzu, good morning. Good morning to you, dear. How are you doing? How's your morning coming along? I hope Easter is beautiful to you. Now, Yvette Wanzu, you were saying the intent is you're doing it simply because the other person is a woman. As simple as that. And that's why I'm saying, if we then allow for it to be then normal, then we're saying, I can kill you because you're short. Do you see how ridiculous that sounds? Does it sound ridiculous to you? Then why does it not sound as ridiculous when it comes to women? So we were talking about our thoughts and analysis on generally the femicide issue. And one thing that I also mentioned is we might be dealing with a glitch. We might be dealing with a glitch in the masculinity system. I personally feel like one of the reasons, not all the reasons, but one of the reasons could be the glitch we're seeing right now is, do you remember the empowerment of the girl child? There was a whole initiative at the time. I think I was in primary school, empowerment of the girl child and all of that. While that was happening, masculinity, what is it called? The mentorship of boys into learning masculinity did not evolve alongside women being empowered. So while as you were being told, oh, now you can go to school, now you can get careers, now you can get your own money, open your bank account, this is how you handle your finances, or here is how to handle your hygiene, this and this is what you do. While all of that was now happening to the woman or to the girls, the boys were completely blindsided. No one was with them. They were still being taught they were still being mentored in the retrogressive masculinity ways. And now when they got out into the world, the women they thought they would find at that time when they were being mentored and they were young are not the women they are finding here. And there seems to be a glitch. Now, there's a series I did on TikTok that I want to play for you in just a bit so that you understand what I'm trying to explain. And it's basically the women's role in the past is what men would like it to stay as. And now they just can't reconcile what women are in this present time. And considering that in their mentorship and in their being mentored in masculinity and all of that, men were not mentored to deal with their feelings, take accountability. That is something that men do not have. And now you're just feeling like if I get angry, then I can throw a tantrum, and this tantrum can cause death, and it's okay. They made me angry, so it is fine. They made, the last time when we were going for the march, the femicide march in January 2024, and the men we met there were like, why are you eating men's money? Who took it from your pocket? I beg, who took it from your pocket? Why is this level of accountability so difficult to come to? Did this woman come and rob you? Did they mug you? The same way, if you don't want something, if you don't want to give someone do not give them. You can't claim this person took something of mine and it's you who give them. That is not even, you can't even prove it in court. And it's the same way when they go and when you say, I was conned. That is why con cases can't go anywhere. You say I was conned, but it shows the money came from your M-Pesa account and you put in your PIN. Yeah? So at what point were you, it shows consent at that point. Like I sent the money myself. So when you say someone ate your money, they didn't rob the money from your pocket, I beg. Yvette Wanzu, you are saying what the justice system is communicating is there are no repercussions for your actions, and that's a scary place to be. Exactly, because we've even talked about the Busia documentary that we've seen Philip Karanja and Kambua doing, and we've seen the biggest inhibitant to justice is the justice system, and it is so deep-rooted. It's the police, it's the magistrates, it's the lawyers, it's the political class, the MCAs, the MP. It is exhausting. It is exhausting. Now, to the point that I was explaining about this glitch that probably could have happened, that could be a reason, not the entire reason, but could be one reason that we are seeing a lot of femicide cases. Now, I want to play the series. I think they were 1 minute each, and so it will basically give us the context for what I'm speaking about. So this is the In All Honesty podcast on our TBC radio show, coming to you every Monday morning from 7 to 9 a.m. on Instagram Live with me, Olive Oral. And today we are talking about femicide in Kenya. What the F is happening? That's what we want to know, because yeah. So while I wanted to explain that glitch, I'm going to play the series I had on social media. The series is on TikTok. I don't know if I saved it anywhere on Instagram, but basically let me play it for you here so that you understand what I am talking about when I say there was a glitch because of how we were socialized as men or women in the past. And then now there seems to be, kuna mahali tulipitana. There's a place where men were left behind while women were moving, and then now they've met at a crossroads somewhere, and they just can't reconcile what has happened all this while. It's like meeting a friend from way back, and they've changed, they are grown, But your memory of this friend, let's say your memory of this friend was they were small, they were very meek. Oh, I'm sorry, I don't know if there's music playing. They were small, they were very meek, they couldn't talk, and then now you meet them years later, and they're very loud, they're very boisterous. You're just like, okay, you can't reconcile the two personalities. And for you, you thought you were going to meet the friend who's meek and quiet and all of that. I think that's what's happening. But anyway, let me play this just to explain to you. I don't know whether to play all three of them. But anyway, let's get to it so that you see what I am talking about. There's something here on TikTok that literally changed my brain chemistry and how I view men hanging out with men and men hanging out with women. And I don't remember the creator. It was a while back, and I think it was a podcast setup where this person said that people do not hate homosexuality, people hate femininity. And that is why men who are homosexual but present as masculine are not given the amount of grief that men who present as feminine are given. So if you're carrying the feminine energy, whether as any other gender or as a woman, you're bound to get attacked. And you can see this even in the religious space, because religion is very adamant against homosexuality, but they were willing to open it up to first having a gay pope before they even considered having a female pope. It is these ideas that have made me notice how men are genuinely happy around other men, but when they are hanging out with women, it's as if they only have women to serve a particular function. So even men will marry or interact with women just to serve a particular function. But in an ideal world, if men were to just be genuinely happy, they would do everything with their fellow men. I have nothing against men's happiness. On another video, I'll do a psychoanalysis on how this then relates to femicide. So that was that was the first video where I was just basically explaining. I saw how basically men are very happy. I would explain that first. Men are very happy around men. And sometimes it feels like when a woman comes along, it's just like, yeah. And also it seems like men will only interact with women for a particular benefit, not for the happiness of it. It's not like a woman makes me happy. It's just for the benefit of it. I need a woman so I have someone to keep the home. I need my sisters around so that I have someone to, I don't know, clean or keep the house warm. There's usually a reason a man needs a woman. It's not just because it makes you happy. And where this is different from women is that we see for women literally, there are men who make them happy. Like literally, I love my dad. I love my husband when he's around. His presence makes me happy. And that is not exactly the case when it's the other way around. And why I say this is that podcast that I mentioned where someone said, people don't hate homosexuality. People hate femininity because men, gay men who present as masculine, no one gives them any problems. They're fine. They're moving around this life. In fact, I think the number of cases that have come up where people have been said to be down low, homosexuals, and multiple people in Nairobi and multiple places are actually married to women, and they are gay on the down low. and their partners are out here. Their partners are on TikTok or Instagram telling these stories. It's just that they can't reveal their names. So you can imagine the number of people. So long as they're presenting as masculine, that is okay. But now the gay men who present as feminine, there's a problem. They will face all the attack there is to be faced. And I think we even remember the death of Chiloba. And Chiloba was also killed by an intimate partner. This was the case in Moi University. Do you remember Moi University? Chiloba was the guy who was killed by his partner and was actually stuffed in a box and all of that. And you should have seen the discourse around his death. And the death was and the discourse was hate towards him, and only because he was a gay man who presented as feminine. And why I say again, femininity is generally hated, because we can even see in the church. In the church, homosexuality is something that they speak against so strongly and so boldly. But for the Catholic Church to decide we are ready to open it up to a gay man, it's okay. Let it be a gay man. But a woman cannot be the Pope. A woman can't be the Pope. So it tells you how ingrained this is, that no, women don't even rank as humans. Women are second-class humans. We are not even going to consider women. We'd rather take something that we hate with all our hearts. We know how we speak about homosexuality, but we'd rather have a gay man leading, a gay man who presents as masculine. It shows he's masculine. We'd rather have that as a Pope than even give the opportunity to a woman. So that is crazy for me. That is the hate that we are seeing on femininity. So I want to play the second video just so we continue to hear what the thought process was. And Zuzed, you're saying, thank you for bringing in gender beyond the binaries. I love it. Thank you so much, Zuzed. Bless you for that. Now, the second video, here we go. Setup where this person said that people do not hate homosexuality, people hate femininity. So this is a continuation on the discussion where we were talking about how men are generally happy around fellow men than they are around women, and how this is related to femicide. Now, if you look at the history, after years and years of conditioning and socialization, men now subconsciously think of women as less than, not as human, not at par with men, and they literally think of women as toys or pets. And if you think I'm joking, look back at the history of wars. Women would accompany men to these men-centered areas, or would accompany soldiers to war, only to serve the purpose of a wormhole where a man after a long day can come back and decompress by ejaculating into that hole. Also remember, it was only until the 70s that women were allowed to own property or have money of their own, and that is why the naming system of taking up your father's name and then later on your husband's name came from, because you needed to be identified by belonging to a particular man as property. You've heard women say they wouldn't want to survive an apocalypse. Yes, we know what we are used for in such conditions. In the next video, we link it back to femicide. So in this case, when I say that women know that they don't want to survive an apocalypse, I think you've seen the videos on social media where women are like, you're asking me what I do after an apocalypse? I'm not staying, guys. I'm not staying. In fact, I hear it coming. It's there in the CBD. I'm gonna finish myself off. Because what has happened in the past is, when there is disaster, why women and children are protected is not so much because women and children are cared for. Is because we need to create more generations for survival. That's the only reason women are protected. So if you're looking at it in terms of how women were used in the past, and you can see the resentment, you usually see the resentment and loath people have towards prostitution. It's like, you're a prostitute, you're a whore, it held a lot of power at some point, and I'm so glad that we've come to the point where we've taken back our power and we've owned all these labels that were supposed to be very dehumanizing to us. But you see the resentment that used to come with, you're a prostitute, you're a whore, is because that's all women were good for at the time. When people were going to war, when men were going to war, the army was going to war, they'd have some women come on, and these women would come on as they weren't coming on as someone to cook or clean or someone to maintain whatever sanity for them. Women were supposed to come on because one of the ways that men would, men would wind down after a long day or after a hard day is through ejaculation. Okay? And so the women are there to serve that particular purpose only. You are here so that I find a wormhole in which I can ejaculate. So you can imagine this man who their entire lives they've known that's the role of a woman. She's just supposed to sit here. I'm supposed to use her for my own pleasure at whatever time I feel like it. And after that, if I need more generations, we need more people. We need more people to live, right? And at the time, maybe they didn't even have things like the modern medicine that we have where children were surviving. So that is why women had so many children, because women existed to maintain population. right? Women existed to maintain population. We needed women to have children because that's the only way they whatever. That's what they're good for. That's why we have women on the planet, right? And I think I even mentioned the book that I was reading, The Trials of Chepondor by Franz Owano, where Kakut, the husband, was literally strangling the wife because she was seen near the village. She was seen near the village clinic, and that to him means you're trying to take family planning pills. This woman is tired. She has young children. Do re mi fa. She doesn't know how to take care of them. Her herself, she's being battered. She's exhausted. She can't think of adding another child to this to this task that she has already. But to the men, to her husband, they need more children. The population of the community needs to stay consistent or needs to grow, because also they are looking at things like cattle rustling. It's the same concept across the world. Even in the world wars, women needed to procreate more children because we need more army. We need more people in the army. In a couple of years, we need to be producing, to be churning out numbers to join the army to go for war. It's the same thing in Kenya, in African communities. It's this cattle rustling and all of that. So we need the community, the ethnic community, to grow. We need the numbers to grow so that in case we are going to cattle rustling, we are going to war, we have the numbers. It's the same thing. You've had this concept when we are having political campaigns, and people are like, "We need women to give more birth." There's a time when I used to hear. I didn't even comprehend it at that time. But at the time, I used to hear different communities used to be told, can you give birth to more children? Give birth to more children. In a particular year, we need this number of votes. Do you see what women have been good for all these years? Do you now see what women have been good for all these years? So that could be part of it. That is, now you can imagine a boy who was growing up, that's what they knew. Your mom is here to just take care of the home. Your sisters are here to give us cows. When the bride price is paid, we become rich. And your wife is there to give you children and to also take care of your home. It's as simple as that. Women's roles were very defined, and they were not so much. Women have not always so much be considered humans. That's why their thoughts were not considered, opinions were not considered. You hear me in this particular piece telling you that women did not have access to bank accounts or money of their own until the 1970s. Do you know how recent 1970s is? Someone born in the 1970s is 40-something headed to 50. We are with them right now. Eh? So you can imagine how recent that is. So these women could not have anything of their own. They were as good as animals. And that is why every time you had the people being clustered as women, let's send away the women and children. Let's protect the women and children. Women were not considered adults of the same capacity as men. So yeah, let's listen to the third clip that basically ties it down now to how this is related to femicide. Exhibit A right under my video, where I was talking about how men have for years been conditioned to think of women as less than this person, even if they do not consciously recognize it. In their subconscious, they think that women do not have the capacity to make informed, independent decisions. They must be influenced by someone as random as me on the internet, or someone who is in their life who tells them how to be and who to be, as it has always been since time immemorial. In history, women were always dependent on men, therefore conditioning men to take up the provider and protector role naturally. And with this, they were socialized into believing that the feminine energy exists to serve the man. With the insurgency of women gaining independence and autonomy, men sort of experienced a glitch and didn't know what to do. Therefore arose the feelings of anger, jealousy, hatred, resentment that was then taken out on women as acts of violence. It was first recorded as gender-based violence, but has steadily progressed to what we now call femicide. You asked what's the end goal? To learn the psychology behind systems. I have no business hating men. Will never tell anyone to hate men. We are still giving birth to sons, and hating men does not do anything for us. So something that is very important that I just want us to note in that last clip is a lot of times when we speak about femicide and we speak about the rights of women, a lot of the times in the man's ears, it translates to, you people are just telling people to hate women. You people are just recruiting haters for men. I beg, rest. How can I be out here talking about hating men while we're still giving birth to sons? Or what are we supposed to do with our sons? Do we want to kill them like the Pharaoh, God demanded of the children of Egypt? Kill all the firstborn sons. Like, can I help me understand why you think this translates to hate? So that is where also I was explaining the glitch comes to. So it got to a point where now we've met at the crossroads. Remember when we said boys were trained or they were mentored that women, this is the woman's role, this is your role in the society. Now, while women were getting empowered, the boys were blindsided. Now we've all gotten at a crossroads and they're like, why is this wormhole for ejaculating talking to me? Why is this a baby-making machine
having money of their own? Why are they not listening to me? Why are they doing things by themselves? Why is this dishwasher talking back at me? You know, so there's a glitch in the sense that who I thought women are is not who I'm seeing in front of me. And so with that, there's this level of anger, like with the things I thought I would get out of life, I'm not going to get them because who is this? This one has their own money. This one has their own autonomy. This one can make their own decisions. They have their own options. Where is this thing that I was promised? Where are these virgins that I was promised? I'd get a virgin when I get to a particular time. I was told I'd get money, and when I get money, I'll get someone who I can tell, wash the dishes, give me 7 children, da, 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 da. Now you're telling me I can't get all of this. I can't wave my magic wand and get things done. Like, so that's the glitch I'm talking about. And that is what I was trying to explain in this that 3-part series, where I was talking about how the masculinity, what masculinity was and is right now, is what might be causing the glitch. And what we are seeing is now anger and resentment and so all of that, jealousy and all of that is now directed towards women. And it's directed towards women so aggressively that they just feel like you don't deserve to live. And maybe how it's even computing in some men's brains is that if you're not here to give children, you might as well die. If you're not here for me to tell you what to do, you might as well die. So honestly, that's what I'm thinking is computing in their heads. Because how do you explain some of these things that are happening? But I know that is one factor. It's not the entire reason for femicide, but I know that's a very huge factor where masculinity did not evolve with the empowerment of women. And right now they just don't understand what is happening. And instead of being bigger people and sitting down and asking themselves, why am I feeling the way I'm feeling? How can I gel better with women because we coexist? And how can I make myself better so that I can keep up with the evolving woman? Instead of doing all that, you're just like, I'm angry. I'm going to throw a tantrum. And in this tantrum, I'm going to kill somebody. Zuzed, you are saying, also, women never hate men in the way men hate women. Women haven't been killing sons. They've simply decided not to give birth. Enter 4B movements. Hey, I said the way child-free women will become for. I honestly am scared. The way I'm looking at how things are progressing, I can see how child-free women they're coming for child-free women. I can see how that is a possibility. And I feel like that is something, why I'm so scared of that is I feel like it is actually something that will be backed up by the system. And if we don't get enough reasonable people in places of authority, let me tell you, it's not, I shudder to think about it. Now you're saying, women haven't been killing sons. So you say, okay, let me just read it. Women never hate men in the way men hate women. Now, there's another thing that came to my attention when I was watching Shits and Gigs. Shits and Gigs is by Fuhad and James. And there's this time when they asked for particular information, just random information that you have, just interesting facts. Not facts per se, but interesting information that would just be interesting to know. And this one person said that in men and women, how being interested, finding someone attractive, how it computes in the minds of both men and women. So in the minds of women, when they don't find someone attractive, that person does not exist. They can easily miss you. Like if we were in a room and they didn't find you attractive, a woman could easily just not be aware of your existence. They could literally ignore you. So that is how you could text a woman or you could be pursuing a woman and she just doesn't pay mind to you. Like to her, you do not exist. You're not an option. So that's how not being attractive to someone, someone not being attractive to you computes in a woman's brain. But for men, when they find a woman not attractive, it computes as annoyance. They are angry. And you know, I know there's this video there's this meme. I don't know whether it's a meme now, but there's a video on TikTok where there's someone who says, bullies are so wild because why do you hate me because I'm ugly? It doesn't make sense, right? So knowing that men compute lack of attractiveness as anger, like you're so annoying, you're so irritating to them, it would explain how they could just go around harming women. Because if I find you ugly, then you deserve to die. It's as simple as that. Do you understand how crazy this is? So imagine for every woman, for every man, a woman found unattractive, you could literally lose your life, because to them it registers as anger. And you've seen this sometimes when a woman is doing something, or when a woman is very confident, or they have money, or they're living their life very, what can I say? They're living their life very boldly, and this woman is not conventionally pretty. You can usually see the men's comments. They are full of hate. It's like, if I don't find you attractive, you have no right to exist and to even be happy or to even have things. So that is also something else that Zuzed has said that has just triggered that memory, where for women, someone who's not attractive computes as not existing, but for men, someone who's not attractive computes as annoyance. Zuzed, you continue to say, this entire progression tells me feminism has been working, looking at the right wing and them closing funding or on reproductive health. Yes. Yo, let me tell you, it is so deep. I keep telling people to go back and watch The Laundromat on Netflix. It will literally give you an account of how capitalism works. And once you understand how capitalism works, then you'll understand the different systems. It is so deeply politically rooted, you have no idea. And the way Zuzed has actually said, it will be when we get to that point where people need population. That's what women are good for, right? We need population. And you're out here, you're threatening our population with your child-free or 4B movement. It will get to a point where they will now restrict reproductive services. And you see that's what is happening in the Americas. And if we're not careful, it might even happen here, where you might be told random things like family planning has run out, or there might even be, this one I'm scared about, but there might be a rampant, I don't know what to call it. It's almost like a cleanse, but it's like men will be sent out to do, this one is crazy, but it's happened in some countries, to like mass rape women so that we have children, because consent is not something that's working for them at this point, right? So we need to change the systems. We need to have people who are thinking in the system. And you see the system is very, the English is refusing today. The system is very calculated in all the moves that they make. The political system is very calculated. And you've seen how we've even been talking about, see the women who are representing us. It's very easy in Kenya to now make a case that we really do not need women in authority, because you've seen how women are out here moving wild and they're really embarrassing us. So it's very easy for someone to make a case and say women have been in places of authority and they haven't made a difference, because we're seeing the Karenyamus, we're seeing the CS of health, we're seeing such women in positions of power and they're not doing anything to actually help the women. So it's very easy to make a case for women to be removed from the systems of authority. But this is also a move by the political people. And this move was, let us put the most stupid of people to represent the women majority, just so we can say, this is the narrative. Didn't we give women positions? Didn't we even create a position in the government specifically for women? That is a women's rep, right? We created for you. What have your women reps done? So it is very calculated. And if we are not careful, just look into the system. So it was even calculated that we get the most ridiculous of the people who are not thinking, because it is normal in every society. There's stupid ones, men or women. So we are going to get the stupid women and put them in positions of power and then run a narrative that this is how women are behaving and they are not helping in the betterment of the women's life or lifestyle. So it's politics is crazy. Akaenda, you were saying, then you look at the person who was approved to be CS for gender, CS for gender, not health. I'm sorry, CS for gender. Yes, just ticking boxes is absurd. It's crazy. It's out of this. My Lord, me when I start thinking about, if I start thinking about the politics and how the capitalist works, and I just feel like, guys, you need to wake up. You really need to wake up, because everything is not as it seems in plain black and white as you see it. The Karenyamus are all proxies. They are pawns in a big chessboard. And this game is not in our favor. The odds are not in our favor. But anyway, if you're just coming in, this is the In All Honesty podcast on our TBC radio show, coming to you every Monday morning from 7 to 9 a.m. right here on Instagram Live. And today we are talking about femicide in Kenya. What the hell is going on? And we have talked about basically the definition of femicide. We've looked at particular things that are happening within the country of Kenya with regards to femicide. We've seen the numbers we are reporting. We reported 170 cases in 2024, which we thought was diabolical. We did not know that in 3 months in 2025, we were going to report literally right about the same cases before even the year. At the beginning of the year, we literally still have about 8 months to go, and we've already recorded 130 cases. We are 40 cases shy of what was recorded for an entire year last year. Is alarming. Michi Scott, you're saying, you mentioned a movie we should watch. I've forgotten. Remind me the name again, please. That is The Laundromat. It's on Netflix. The Laundromat will give you a very good idea of how capitalism works. And hopefully, if you are an introspective person, you're able to apply it to different aspects. Because once I understood how capitalism works, that's how I understood the political class and all the suckers they are running there. So yes, any system that involves the capitalist, you'll get to understand it. The laundromat from, just think of kuosha nguo, kuosha pesa. Yes, the wash, the laundering of money. Yes, the laundromat on Netflix. Some of our thoughts and analysis before we went into playing the clips that I had on TikTok, where I was just basically explaining how this particular thing came to, one of the reasons that we could be seeing a rise in femicide cases, and it could be the reconciliation in men's head of what they thought women are supposed to be and what they're seeing women to be. Those are two completely different things. The dishwasher and housekeeper that they thought they would get, who's a virgin and doesn't speak, is only spoken to. And this one who has a career, has their own money, has no need for a man, is just living their own life. Kidogo, they're not understanding. Why is this dishwasher speaking? Yes. So it's the reconciliation of the two. And basically that series is on TikTok. I'll post it on my Instagram as well and put it on my highlights so that it's easily accessed. Akaenda, you are saying, and you bring out a crucial element, the aspect of consent and control. The patriarchy is fighting our ability to have control and autonomy in our lives and the basic foundation of consent. Yes. Consent is the idea that men cannot live with because what do you mean I need to ask? What do you mean I need to ask? As I'm telling you, all these concepts are things that are not computing in men's heads because when they lived, when the times were simple and life was good, there was no asking. There was no seeking of permission. They had full control. Whatever I say is done. Whatever I say goes. So now, what are you telling me that there's a counter offer on the table? What is this you're telling me that I can be refused access? All these things don't compute in their head. Accountability is something that men cannot process. I've gotten away with everything. And you can see even how our mothers raised us, with us as girls in comparison to our brothers. You got away with everything. You literally got away with everything. So what is this in adulthood? Now you're telling me I have to be accountable. I have to seek consent. I have to ask. I have to negotiate. It doesn't compute in their heads. Akaenda, you're saying they took and there was no accountability. Yes, there was no accountability. They always took what they wanted. They got away with everything. If you've grown up, I don't know whether it's just my home. If you've grown up, my mom was very strict about men in the family. It didn't matter who. Where she didn't negotiate was her cleanliness. So for cleanliness, everyone was cleaning in the house. But generally, in our home, even our extended family structure, men just existed, man. They just existed. Hey, it must be nice. They just existed. So some of the thoughts, as we continue on our thoughts and analysis on the matters femicide, the last thought that we were basically just expounding on was we are dealing with a glitch where masculinity did not evolve alongside the women empowerment. Accountability is too new a concept to men. They just don't get it. Killing because, so this is something that I've mentioned, killing because of gender gives way to killing people you just don't like. Do you get what I'm saying? Because gender is so abstract that what we were mentioning in the beginning is that if that is okay, then I can kill you because you're short. I can kill you because you're dark skinned. The sight of you doesn't make me happy, and so I can kill you. Do you understand how ridiculous that is? That's basically what femicide is. You're just killing me because I'm a woman. I've not done anything. I just existed. That's all. I just existed and happened to be in a particular gender. And for that reason, you're like, I don't like you here. You gotta go. So you see how crazy that is. Now, let us look at the politics, because we've seen a lot of politics on the red lipstick campaign. So we've mentioned the red lipstick campaign is basically petitioning for femicide to be made a crime in Kenya. At this point, we are reporting staggering numbers, and it has to be something that has to be criminalized on its own. And I've seen, while I was doing research for this episode, I've seen some updates. Oh, we've set a special police unit. You think we're mumu? You think we're stupid? So I've seen a particular updates where they're saying, oh, there's particular things that have been set up to deal with femicide. I don't know where they were set up, Abi. If you know any that is working that has been set up by our government, please let me know. Michi Scott, you are saying, what do you suggest women should do to slow down or stop femicide? Because we are in this alone. The government is not even trying to help. Higher. Let's get into the politics. I think that will be answered by the last thoughts and analysis I had here. So that's a very good question, by the way, Michi. And I just don't want it to be, is it Michi or Michi? Sorry. I don't want it to be construed to what should women do not to be killed. Honestly, at this point, nothing. Because you could just be chilling. Do you remember Sheila? Do you remember Sheila, who 6 men broke into her house and violated her and then killed her? Yeah. So if I'm to say, if we are to ask what can women not do, and you see the CS of gender was out here saying Airbnb, when the statistics clearly state 70% of the women have died in the hands of their husbands. 33% of them have died in the hands of their boyfriends. So the one we are talking about for 70% is not even, is legal. What is it called? This, we are talking about things that had witnesses. We are talking about a union that had witnesses and was done before God and people. And those are the women who've been killed by their 70%. So when we are talking about 170 cases in 2024, 70% of them, 70, were killed by their husbands. Husband, not boyfriend, not a fling, husband. So when you stand there in front of people, honestly, that move for the political class putting stupid women in authority just to prove that women are stupid, that move now has finished us. That move has finished us completely. That one, guy. Anyways, so yes, when we're saying what women can do, I don't see what we ourselves can do, but I see some things that we can do here and there. So first things, the politics. The politics we mentioned is I've seen 2 particular things that we're talking about on social media around the red lipstick campaign. And one is that Usikimye is just trying to raise donor funding for whatever. They're trying to raise funds. So you give them money. Because who do you know? What's a cost you know that does not require money? Give them money. And one thing I want to say before we get into the politics of what I've seen around the red lipstick campaign, if your opinion or what you're going to say does not contribute to that campaign, even if you think it's a scam, keep it to yourself. Keep it to yourself, because at this point, we need all hands on board. We need every voice possible to come on board and speak towards this particular cause. So if you have your own reservations, fine, but keep them to yourself until we have achieved something. You're not helping anyone with your opinion, okay? So Usikimye is doing genuine work. Now, Usikimye is literally the only, I would say it's the charity in my books that I would say I support. And I will always tell people, because I've seen the actual work. They're actually trying to raise money. They have a safe house. They have bus. There's a time I think someone donated a bus to them so that they can be able to do rescue missions. Because sometimes you hear there's someone going through something somewhere, you have to go and fetch them before they get killed. So I have seen Usikimye at work. And even if they need funding, guys, okay, fine, Usikimye is raising money. But I've seen you give money to con people. Haven't I seen you give money to cons? Haven't you people changiad random people on the internet who they lost their car? What is the episode we're talking about? Caliph Cairo. Haven't you people changiad Caliph Cairo money? For no apparent reason. No apparent reason. Now when someone wants to raise money for a cause, you are here, you want to open your mouth. Okay, fine. If you're opening mouths for donor funding, Usikimye wants donor funding. I haven't heard you speak about all the foundations opened by white people since 1960 what in this country. and they've never offered a solution that is long-term. Wamekita kambi Turkana sijui wapi. Every day, it's a new documentary, it's a new video, or kids are dying of hunger. At this point, you haven't planted farms, you haven't planted the fruits and vegetables. At this point, you haven't created a water system with an irrigation system. At this point, yes. So when it is white people out here, the UN has set up whatever's everywhere, foundations everywhere. If you've been to Nyanza, Kenya, Kisumu, jobs, people who have jobs are all working in NGOs. There's always an NGO for something, right? But when Usikimye comes here and tells you, I need some money, I need money for fuel so I can go rescue people. I need money to maintain the safe house. It's growing out of control. Every day there's a woman and a child coming in. We are not able to house all of them. Here is where you draw the line. And there's a foundation in your own Ushago that has been there for years. What is the long-term solution they've created? If we're going to talk about donor funding here, Usikimye is looking for donor funding. Please don't speak. May you not speak if I've never heard you speak of any other foundation, whether it is true or not. But I will say this and I will stand with Usikimye. I know for a fact Usikimye is doing the work. Let me just read these thoughts before I continue. Akenda, you are saying, okay, so that's one of the things, just to respond to what women can do. That's one of the things. Abi, don't speak. Don't speak if your opinion is not going to contribute positively. Shut up. Shut up. Just shut it. You're not helping. You're just joining the voices of the men who are perpetrators, and you will also be counted as a statistic because you wanted to talk and not think of anything. Akenda, you are saying, and I think we also need to keep calling out our mothers, aunties, sisters who have internalized misogyny, whose first reaction is to blame the victims and not the offenders. Suzette, you are saying, Mimi, the women complaining about Usikimye and Joanne are simply struggling with internalized misogyny. So internalized misogyny has come up in these two comments we are seeing here, Akaenda and Suzette. Yes, it is definitely internalized misogyny. Now for Akaenda, kama kuna generation me I've given up on is our parents. Honestly, is our parents. Because sometimes you'll even have you seen daughters who have done so well for themselves? They've done so well. They've taken their family out of poverty. And when she's going to put her nyash down like this, she's asked, hey, now where's your husband? I can understand calling them out. Like, okay, fine. Yes, call them out. Call out your aunties and your mothers. Call them out a good one. Call them out. I know they say, you are disrespectful. I have lost my daughter. They will scream the way they usually so dramatic. They will scream and say, yeah, oh, my daughter, she wants to kill me. You want to be killed, I beg, sit down. Your husband will finish you before I do, okay? So let's call them out. Let's call them out, definitely. But I don't have hope. I don't have hope in them changing their minds because, again, you can't teach old dogs new tricks, right? I don't have hope, but yes, keep calling them out. That I do agree with. The women complaining about Usikimye, I said, shut up. Shut up. And Zuzed, you bring up the other point that I wanted to talk about now, Joanna K. Joanna K is one of the influencers. She's the owner of a cosmetic line, Joanna K. And so she was one of the influencers that jumped onto this campaign and was very vocal about it. And she worked in collaboration with Usikimye to just like create awareness about femicide. And now she got to a point where she decided, I need to give more. And so she said all the proceeds, all the sales made from her red lipsticks, just in collaboration with the campaign, all the proceeds will go to Usikimye, or rather will go to the cause of femicide. And then, who was here to raise their mouth again? And you are here twisting your mouth. It's a marketing campaign, or you're using the death of women for marketing. Will you sit down? Will you sit down? I said sit down, first of all. Because, okay, fine, Joanna K has created the awareness. She has talked, she has shared on her social media. But here's the thing. The petition itself that we need to work on requires money. Usikimye itself requires money. Because what do you think they're going to use for the cars they're using to go rescue people? What do you think they're going to use for feeding children in this safe house? What do you think they're going to use for resettling women in new homes and opening up businesses for them? Or don't you follow the page and see what they are doing? They need money. They need money at the end of the day. So Joanna K sitting down and being like, I can't just talk, and there's no money I'm contributing. Let me contribute. But it could also be because I myself as a business person, I know I don't have the money. I have the products, but I don't have the money. Ni kama sahi mniambie, we need to rescue someone, and then I send you the emotions wheel. Nikisha kutumia emotions wheel na journal na gift gratitude jar, ufanye nini? So Joanna K is basically telling you, I don't have the money, but guys, if you buy this lipstick, this money will go towards this cause. The other option that I'm usually telling people, then Joanna K should take her lipsticks to Usikimye wajiuzie, because that's what she has. Or how else do you just believe causes are funded by goodwill? Your intention is clear. Yes, you are supporting. Yes, you are creating awareness. But at the end of the day, these things cost money. The maintenance of this costs money. Apart from femicide itself, just the petition itself and the campaign around it, Usikimye is still running a safe house and is still rescuing victims of gender-based violence. And if you're not keen, even victims of gender-based violence who are men and boys are being rescued by Usikimye. So this your short-sightedness, this your need to always make an argument out of any. Shut up. Sit down. If you don't want to contribute, you can just sleep. Let the rest of us do whatever we can do. And when we start making progress, you can come join us. Because I know you also like eating the fruits that you've not worked for. It is fine. You can also come and join us when now the cause is serving you. Zuzed, you're saying, how do you think mutual funds work? Msitukasirishe. Hata mimi nimesikia ni kasira kamepanda. Hapo for the politics I've seen around Usikimye and Joanna K, I beg, think. And we can tell you are not exposed. We can also tell you've never had a business. We can also tell you have no information on how things work, even how Zuzed has mentioned. You have no information on how mutual funds work. Because you're just here accusing. You must talk. Marketing campaign. Where is she supposed to give money to the cause? Because if right now you were to give money, or you want her to run down her business, to just give all the money she has to the cause, afunge biashara, ataanza afresh baadaye. You're there. No. Anyway, those are some of the... who is it that asked, was it Mishi? Yes, I think it was Mishi who asked, what can we as women do? Because it seems like we are on our own. One thing, call out the aunties, the stupid ones who have internalized misogyny. We are going to call them out. Second, shut everyone else. And if you're a woman who has an opinion that is not helping us, shut up. That is how you're going to help us. Shut your mouth. That one. And then we also go into now what to do. I was in such helplessness when preparing for this episode. And I thought to myself, okay, fine. All of you've done the analysis, you've done the thoughts, you have all this information at hand. What to do? Especially the way Mishi has asked. We're on our own. The systems are not on our side. Like, what are we to do? Even me, I'm there with you, babe. Even me, I'm there with you. Because it's very easy. All my episodes have always had like a case, and then we have thoughts and analyses. And then at the end of it, we do like, okay, now what can we do from here? These and things. I can point you towards things that we can do so that we better ourselves, we improve our emotional intelligence, we improve the quality of our lives. Every other episode has been so easy to just point out what we can do. But now, Akayanda, you were saying Joanna K, Njeri as well. Joanna K and Jerry as well. Like, people will want to rubbish other people's efforts, but if you ask them for alternatives, no one will put their hand up to bridge those gaps. Exactly. And this is something that is actually a concept. Thank you for bringing that up. That's actually a concept that I use everywhere in my life. When I've done something and then someone comes, especially at work, when I've done something or I've created something creative and I'm putting it out and then someone comes and says, it's not good. Give me the good one I post. Give me the good one. Don't come here and tell me I don't like red. What other color should we use? Because this idea of just talking and there's nothing you're doing, I beg, you're not helping the country at all. Now, what to do? These are things that I thought we should do. Again, it's a lot of work that doesn't involve just us women doing it. It will involve the systems. It will involve the political class. So, yeah, Mishi, I'm sad. I'm sad that there's nothing we can do for ourselves. But one thing I thought is we need to amend human rights protection laws. That's the first thing I thought about, because to date, we know all the victims by name. We don't know the perpetrators. We don't know their names. We don't know their faces. So someone could have killed me today. Atoke tu aende kwa jirani yangu na endelee kuishi maisha yake safi. And no one knows this person is a killer. Do you remember the case of the person, what was his name? Mokaya, the person who killed Starlet Wahoo. When Starlet Wahoo died is when other women came up with cases that were wild. You were like, this man just existed. He just existed after the first case, the second one, the third. He continued to exist. No one knows him because human rights protection, Human rights protection. And I've seen a lot of people giving Usikimye grief on their pages when they've posted their picture of their assailant and they've blurred their face. It's because literally, the law can come for them if they reveal the identity of the perpetrator. Because up until now, the law states that you are innocent until proven guilty. And for that reason, we have murderers walking amongst us. For that reason, we have, what are they called? These people who are abusing children left, right, and center. We have sexual abusers walking amongst us. Every day we're rubbing shoulders with them. We don't know who they are because human rights protection law. So that's the first thing I thought about. Let's name and shame, because I know also perpetrators really thrive in anonymity. When they know no one will know it is me, they just leave. They are very happy. So I would think that's I thought in my head, I thought that could be an easier one to work through than trying to get a whole new course and turn it to law. That's what I thought. And then looking at the things that we're fighting for, if we wanted now femicide to actually be criminalized, and you have seen who has been taken up for CS of gender, and the thoughts they have carelessly uttered in public in front of a microphone. And you ask yourself, honestly, there's nothing I hate like hopelessness. But at this point, I'm running out of options. I really am running out of options for a positive outlook. Let me just read something here before I lose it. Was it Zuzed? Zuzed, you are saying, by the way, on what to do towards ending femicide, go to the End Femicide KE IG page. It's all there. Okay. End Femicide Kenya, End Femicide KE page on Instagram. Please go check out and see what you can do. Be very active. If there's a petition to be signed, sign it. If you have money to contribute. If you can create awareness, share it within your circles. Call out people who are counterproductive. Whatever they're doing is counterproductive to the cause. Please try and do whatever you can in your own little way. And here's something that I'll encourage you. Sometimes it might feel like you're so small. You feel like whatever you're doing isn't even working because it's not like the whatever you're dealing with is so huge that it is quite easy for you to feel like what I'm doing is useless. It's not enough. Like I know that feeling. And I keep telling people at the time in 2016, 2017, when I was highly suicidal, it was not because of anything that was happening in my life. Because I'm such a person who hates to see people suffering. My struggle was just that every time I watched the news, there was something happening somewhere that I had no control over, and feeling like there was nothing I could do to help children, to help people dying, to help sick people, to help people who are being mistreated and being bullied by the political system. At that point, when I felt so helpless, that's the frustration that was driving me towards suicide. Because I was like, what's my purpose in life if I'm helping no one? What, like, hakuna mtu nasaidia, like ninaishi ndo nini ifanyike, right? So at that point, what actually helped me was Usikimye. So my attachment to Usikimye might be personal. So at the time, Usikimye put out I don't know whether it was at the time or it was later on after I had struggled through, but Usikimye put out a breakdown. So they were like, if you send 20 shillings, you feed one child for a day at our safe house. If you send 40 shillings, you fed 2 children, or you fed one child 2 meals. So that breakdown is what really helped me to be like, oh, when people say anything goes a long way, they literally mean it. So from me at that point, I started to take it in small doses. I was like, if I have 20 bob, a child is fed. If you have 20 shillings, a child is fed. If I tell someone else, they are educated. Like my podcast, I know my podcast hasn't attracted a lot of brand partnerships, but I know I have showed up here for 5 seasons because I have seen one person's life changed. I have seen one person who was like, they now have knowledge that they didn't have before. So in your own little way, one person at a time. And don't feel frustrated. When you're feeling frustrated, self-preservation, please be your own priority. You can step away. There's a time I actually unfollowed the Usikimye page because I couldn't deal with the triggers. There's a time I actually unfollowed them and said, I'ma come and check when I have the capacity for it. I've set up timelines, like I'ma come and check like maybe once a month, see what the updates are. do whatever I can do, and then leave again, just for self-preservation. So find your own tune and find your own rhythm and see how you can contribute without necessarily feeling overwhelmed. And your contribution goes along. Whatever it is you do, babe, goes a long way. If you just call out one person who was speaking recklessly, it goes a long way. If you help a child, if you see a random child walking home and you walk with them to the gate and then let them enter their house, that's it, babe. You've done enough. Like, please remember that whatever you're doing makes a change, one person at a time, one act at a time. Whatever, if you sweep, you know the saying, if we all sweep in front of our own doors, the whole country will be clean because everyone is keeping their door clean, right? And then we all share our doors and everyone's street is now clean, right? So I hope you don't feel overwhelmed while you're at it. But remember, constantly remember, anything you're doing towards the cause serves the cause. So long as it is positive, it is serving the cause. Hata ukienda pale TikTok uambie mtu, you are running your mouth here with your no nonsense, can you shut up? You're serving the cause. You're serving the cause. So nothing is too small when it comes to the cause. Mishi Scott, you were saying, how did you overcome those suicidal thoughts? And sorry for what you went through. So hey, my Lord, it was very, I don't even think there's a method to it. I think for me, the third suicidal attempt that I survived is where I was like, okay, guys, now it is embarrassing. Okay, it is so embarrassing because how do you fail at something thrice? I turn to humor a lot, so don't mind me. So at the time when I was like, it's not at this point, maybe you are not supposed to go anywhere. Just stay. So for me, it was the third attempt that failed, and I woke up in a daze, and I was like, shit, man, I'm still waking up. So at that point, I remember just promising myself, if I'm gonna leave, I'm gonna be happy. So then I made some changes in my life. I stopped watching the news because those were things that were also they were triggering. I stopped watching the news. I unsubscribed from things like Usikimye for a while. I just said, okay, now we're going to be selfish. We're going to be ourselves. And then I think at some point I started the podcast and then sort of like slowly built a community that would also have conversations with me. And then with time I realized, okay, life is not so bad. Life is not so bad after all. And then with time, I think also, with time I really promised myself, after that last incident, the third incident, I promised myself, if I'm going to leave, I'm going to be happy. If I find myself at a point where I am not happy, I will exit the planet. I promised myself that. And so I went into this mode of forced happiness. I'm going to be positive. I'm going to be happy. I don't care what is coming. I'm going to look for something to celebrate at any particular point. So I really wanted to be happy. I genuinely just wanted to be happy. And I guess I tricked my brain into happiness. And from that point, I've genuinely been happier. I've genuinely been a happier person. And it got to a point where even people were worried for me. They're like, you're just such a full ball of energy. You're so happy. It's because now I'm genuinely happy. It's not like I'm covering up anything. My humor is not for cover up anymore. I genuinely find things funny and everything is funny. So I thought, I really can't say I had a method of how I took myself out of it. But I remember the light bulb moment for me was after the third attempt that I survived. And I was like, if I'm going to stay here, then I'm going to be happy. And I will not negotiate. I will guard my happiness viciously. If anyone tries to interfere with my happiness, out. That is where the ghosting became pro max. The ghosting, the cutting off of even family members that were not helpful in my mental health, were not helpful to my mental health. All of those, cut them off. I went cold turkey on people. So I was very vicious about being happy. And maybe that's what helped. That's what got me here. And I'm at a really good place. And thank you for your warm wishes. And bless you for that. Bless you for that. So I hope that helps someone I hope it helps someone get through. And I usually tell people, because I usually don't make promises because I don't know what the future holds, but I usually tell people it gets better. It genuinely gets better. It does. Akayenda, you're saying, I think we also need to start moving with the audacity of white men to start changing the political narrative. It is an uphill, Herculean task. But I think our mobilization to I think we need our mobilization to choose the right women. That is true. We also have to move with the audacity of a white man. At this point, I think have I mentioned it in any episodes, or it's just my friends who know? These days, especially after I started a business, usually when I'm at a crossroads, I ask myself, what would a man do? And a lot of times I found that the man will pick the most unhinged option. That's the one I'm going for. So move with the audacity. Let us speak out. Whatever you can, do it. Let's unite. Let's unite. the best political move that is being used across the world so that there is no advancement of causes is divide and rule. Once women are divided, it's over for us. It's over for us. You need to join. You need to join the cause, even if sometimes you will get to a point where you'll be like, I don't believe it, but join it. You feel like Joanna K shouldn't have used marketing for this, but at the end of the day, what good does it serve? I remember when I was talking to Ndugu Abisai, do you know Ndugu Abisai of the No Name podcast? And he said, sometimes I don't agree. Sometimes I don't even like the people who are putting out some of the statements, but so long as it's anti-government, I'm coming on board. Let me tell you right now, even if it is, even Andrew Kibe comes here and talks about stop killing of women, I will support Andrew Kibe. If it's going towards the cause, we don't have time. We don't have time for, I don't like this person, whatever you do, all hands on board, all hands on board. It doesn't matter what your personal feelings are about this thing. We will get there. We'll get to a point where we now have the luxury to think, I don't like this, I can walk away from this. But at this point, whoever is supporting the cause, whether the intention is good or bad, so long as it's going towards the voice of the cause, we are on board. Be vicious, be audacious, you just move. And when we're asking for things, when we want to go, like, I think we didn't have as many numbers for the last femicide march. Was it in October or November? I don't remember. October or November. We didn't have as much people come out. But even as exhausted as we are, if you can, please show up. I know we were so exhausted. I really can't hold it against us. We were so exhausted at the time, having come from the first femicide march, then into Maandamanos, and then the second femicide march. There was a lot going on. So I can understand. But whenever you can, move with audacity. Ask for things. Ask that we legislate new laws. You ask. Let's do it. Sign petitions. Join whatever is bringing a voice to the cause. You join it. We'll deal with the semantics later, okay? So at this point, that's all I'm going to say. And the other thing I was saying that we're going to do, I said, one, amend human rights protection laws so that we are able to expose, name, and shame the perpetrators. We see who they are. We know who they are. They have the mark of the, what is it called? The mark of the what? When they're walking around, tunajua huyu ni nani. You see how in the US, when you want to even go on a date, you can do a background search on someone. And you can tell they have this and this recorded. We need such a database just so you know who you're going to meet. You know the people around you. You have to prove yourself for you to be around the community. The other thing is call for a complete overhaul of the justice system. That is something that we've talked about. And I think it's the last thing even Akaenda said here. We move with audacity and call for an overhaul of the entire system. Because at this point, the entire system is broken. We can't go to the police. The police are so nonchalant. They are in cahoots with the courts. The courts, the magistrates, the lawyers, everyone is against justice. And it is so frustrating. And it's all going all the way. It's hierarchical all the way to the most powerful top political class. And it just seems like, I don't know how we're going to do this. I remember, is it Mishi, you're the one who asked what to do? I know this is supposed to be done. It's such a huge task, but then I know it has to be done. It also has to be done. I know there's nothing I can say that we can do as me as a woman. I know I'm trying to think of something, because literally someone could come into my house right now and finish me. I don't know what else I can do as a woman by myself. But yeah, I'm thinking amend human rights protection. I'm thinking call complete overhaul of the justice system. Yote, hata tunaweza toa yote tuanze afresh basi. And the last one, very controversial, but sasa nimesema tutafanya aje. A vigilante group, vigilantes, because the government has refused. We just get a couple of women or even men who are for the cause. And every time you have done something, just the same way the government is operating, we move in their footsteps. Because you've posted a meme of Zakayo, the next day you have disappeared. It's the very same way you have been found. You have been accused to have sexually abused a child. You have been accused to have murdered your girlfriend. I don't know, I beg. Disappeared. This person just disappeared into thin air. Not a trace. So vigilantes is my last option. I can't think of anything else. I have one thing I'm thinking of, but it will border, what is it called? It will border, the English has refused today. It's refused completely. But yes, what I am saying, that last option for me is not safe. It's not safe to appeal to people, I have quite an audience, and it is not something, it can get me in hot soup. But yes, there's an option. There's a last option. There is one. I just can't say it here. But I hope the ladies know what it is. I hope you know what it is. There's an option. There's another one. It's crazy, but it's basically tit for tat. It's basically tit for tat. I'm going with vigilante as the only thing that we can do that does not involve the political class or the justice system. Vigilantes. And the other one, the ladies know. The ladies know. And if you're just coming in, we are closing on our In All Honesty podcast on our TBC radio show. It comes to you every Monday morning from 7 to 9 a.m. on Instagram Live with me, Olive Orao. And today we were talking about femicide in Kenya, basically what the F is happening here. So we've had a lengthy discussion. We're not going to have our second hour as we usually do, because the second hour is usually characterized with confessions, and we just didn't think confessions would work for this particular episode. And this particular episode will be available anywhere you usually get the episodes. For the people who are buying, who usually buy the audio episodes on buyolive.com, you'll get it for 0 shillings, because I feel like this episode really needs to be out there. So yes, this episode, there's no parts that will be bought. There's no parts that will be streaming. All of it will be streaming where you get your podcasts. That could be on Spotify, Amazon Music, AfriPods, sorry, even CastPods, and on YouTube. Anywhere you get your podcast, you should be able to get it. For people who buy the episodes on buyolive.com, that is usually the audio episodes, you'll be able to get it there as well. You can still buy it, but for 0 shillings. And that is from tomorrow onwards. And until next time, this has been a heavy episode, but I feel it has, I hope it has renewed hope for you, for the women. I hope it has renewed hope for you. And for the men, I hope you feel informed. I also hope you feel encouraged to join the cause and see what you can do from your end. Yeah. So yeah, that's it. And until next time, we started the episode with Sanaipe Tande Kunitema, which is an episode that speaks to gender-based violence, basically intimate partner violence. And right now, we are going to sign out with Amagence. Amagence is by Something Soweto. It's a song to his daughter, and he's basically telling the daughter, men are all the same, watch out for them. One time you think you like someone and they're good people, and then the next time they turn on you. So you can look at Amagence by Something Soweto. That is what is closing down our episode today. Akaenda, you're saying, thank you for this conversation. Thank you to you two for joining this conversation. I hope it is helpful. I hope it contributes to the cause. Mboche Esther, you're also saying, thank you. Thank you to you too, my love. Until next Monday, this has been the In All Honesty podcast on our TBC radio show, coming to you every Monday morning from 7 to 9 a.m. on Instagram Live with me, Olive Orao, and ushering us out is Amagence by Something Soweto. Just before I go, I have seen a question here where Reni_Mark, you're asking, are there recordings? Yes. From tomorrow onwards, you should be able to find them where you stream your podcasts, whether it's on Spotify. This is the In All Honesty podcast. So you'll find it on Spotify, AfriPods, anywhere you listen to your podcasts too. And for the recordings for other episodes and not this particular one, you will find them on buyolive.com. The link is in my bio, and you can always buy the episodes at 75 Kenyan shillings, although this particular episode will be free. Yes, there are recordings. And on YouTube as well. If you want the video is usually uploaded on YouTube. So you'll find them there. Yes, there are recordings. Okay, now, bye.